Hi. um, I'm turning 55 this month, and being middle-aged, I'm starting to think about um, the America I was born into versus the America I live in the present. The America I was born into in the late 1960s was one of um, civil rights. The civil rights movement was just reaching completion. We were in a high modernist period where we were sending people to the moon. We were in the process of sending people to the moon. Um, we had a strong labor movement. I think like the statistics were about 1/3 of the country was unionized in the late 60s. Hell, there were articles about how um, there was going to be all this leisure because society was going to cut back on working hours because we were becoming more and more humane over time, and we would only have to work. What were people going to do when capitalism didn't require much, less than 40 hours a week, when people be working 20 hours a week, and um, poverty was going to be solved, and all these things were on the agenda. I mean, this was the period of the Great Society. Um, but then, you know, as the 60s turned into the 70s, um, the post-war boom kind of came to an end. Um, Vietnam, Vietnam became much more of an issue. Um, my first political memory of the early 70s was Watergate, where the president was disgraced and had to resign because of overuse of power. We had gas shortages and oil shortages, and those high modernist dreams of going to the moon and a gleaming future basically started to die out in the Rust Belt. And instead, in the 80s, we got right-wing nostalgia. Make America great again under Ronald Reagan. And um, we were promised in the 80s, if we voted for Reagan, that the good union jobs would come back, and that a nice, the good old days would come back. But things only got worse and worse. I mean, unions were decimated. I mean, this was the Patco strike. The wealthy got wealthier, and basically the economy became unmoored for working people. Basically, the rich kind of took off and into the stratosphere, and the rest of us were left behind. Now, at the end of 2020, at the end of that long neoliberal ride, we have a political system that is unresponsive and doesn't seem to be able to do anything. It's largely owned by the plutocrats and money. It's largely run by what in Russia are called oligarchs, and the people have very little power. And all of those beautiful illusions that are put out by Hollywood and the factory kept us all distracted while we were being put into a neo-feudal arrangement where we have little political power and declining economic prospects, and really just a kind of bleak outlook. We got kind of sold a bill of goods. But I don't know. I was hoping to be more positive, but it's just what I'm thinking about when I think about like the go-go late 60s when I was born versus the current present, which is not the most cheery. Anyway, peace out.